Bite me. If you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back on the Fight Now television channel. And I think we're not Fight Now TV is rocking and rolling the way they always do. But the live stream, which could be working right now, and then again, it could not be. So if you're watching or listening live, we apologize for that. But hey, this is a subscriber because you always get the show, man. The premium podcast subscribers will always get the show. There's no question about that. They have it as Fight Now. Kind of additional information on it, and was not able to find out what the real deal was. So we'll have to on that one. But in any event, we were also talking about Adonis Stevenson and the fact that his next fight, which is happening on the 28th. Now everybody thought that the hit was going to be against Tony Bello. But last minute curveball, and he's going to be taking on Tavorius Cloud, which I just was talking about. I think that's a much better fight, to be honest with you. And one other thing we mentioned real quick was that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. to fight, or at least postpone the fight with Brian Vera. He sustained a cut over his eye, which has required some stitches. I just gave a comment on the pick. Honest with you, she is. I mean, she's typically, you look at a fighter that's young. Normally, when you rob someplace, you have a plan, and generally part of that plan is what you're going to do with the stuff you're going to rob. Already relocation next week. I got news, Jim, and find out what kind of insurance they had. A great opportunity to put all new equipment in your new place. I mean, come on, man. Now, I'm not suggesting that's what they did, but if you, and they're claiming that $10,000 to $15,000 worth of stuff was taken. Let me tell you, a raised ring. On and off, as I can see, at least on BillyCBoxing.com. So if you can, and let me know what you think, if you are getting the feed or not. Anyway, Joel is saying that Julio Cesar Chavez looked fat. I feel this fight. This is what I worked at all my life. After 19 years as a boxer, from a kid to a man, it's all led to this moment. It's a dream come true. It's all about believing in myself, and I believe in its destiny. It's my time. Training has been fantastic. Mentally, I've been in superb condition, and now it's about executing my game plan. I'm going to win. To all my fans back home, I appreciate the support. It's great having a whole nation behind me. I look forward to seeing all of you, and I'll buy everyone a drink when I get back. It's going to be great to show you guys my new belt. Jeez, he's going to be working hard, huh? But Joel is being my man. He's relaying some information to the people. Joel is watching on Fight Now TV. You could be a trendsetter, Joel. For the other, just just like Joel says, the best thing to do is have Fight Now TV or become a premium podcast subscriber. Hey, I was mentioning the WBF before when I talked about Christina Hammer, but there's another fight that's going on this weekend. As we seem to be talking about the WBF and their title fights every single week now. And this is going to be, it's arguably going to be one of the most significant boxing events taking place in the northwest part of Mexico in Sonora State. Carrera is taking on Augusto Gamez for the vacant WBF North American welterweight title. And another fighter, a local female fighter, Linda Soto, is going up against Corelli Lopez for the vacant WBF Women's Intercontinental Super Flyweight title. Anyway, Lou DiBella Entertainment, and SMS Promotions are going to be doing another production tomorrow. Broadway Boxing Heavyweight Tour. How do you Wilder? Guy that's kind of spent and all of that. That's a test. That's probably going to be better than you think. Junior middleweight prospect Hugo Centeno, he's 19-0 already with 10 knockouts. He's out of California. He's going to be on another undefeated fighter, Julian J-Rock Williams. I love the nicknames. 13-0 with a draw with 7 knockouts out of Philly. That's taking place on a Thursday night, September 12th, in Las Vegas. So that ought to be an interesting one to watch on a Thursday night. A gold. It's all right. And when you look at his resume, who's on it? Tony Bello, many people feel was robbed against Nathan Cleverly. He's got to win against him, a majority decision win against Bello. He's got to win against Tommy Carpensy. No disrespect, but Tommy Carpensy is no world beater. Didn't take him out. His last knockout came in November of last year against Sean Hawk. Now, him to do that. As a matter of fact, it would be totally ridiculous and really think that they're going to go toe-to-toe with Sergey Kovalev. That's right in his wheelhouse, man. That's really bad. I mean, I can't say Chris Nicky's not like 30, Joel. Come on, punch him up. He's got to be 36. He's got to be at least, and he's got some Robin Kresnicki. Come on. But anyway, and Scotty's saying no way Bello was robbed. I had Cleverly winning that easily. A lot of people felt Bello was robbed. I thought it was close. I thought it was legit scoring. I thought that it was extremely close. I did not have, by any stretch of the imagination, I did not have, Nathan Cleverly winning that fight easily. It was definitely a tough fight for him. But any event, I want to just give a shout out, Joel. You're gonna have to give the message here to everybody in the chat room. I appreciate everybody hanging around the chat room. Most of you can't even hear the show. It's not even unless you're watching on Fight Now. Or if you're a podcaster, which you'll be listening to tomorrow, you're not you're getting as aggravated with the stream as keeps chopping in, chopping out, going in, going out, all that happy stuff. But anyway, hey, listen, I gave all the Fight Now people a chance to call in. The phone line is now off. Nobody called in. You guys were all scared. So hey, no problem. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be doing the Blast from the Past. We're going to be talking about Terry Marsh. Interesting story, talking about the British fighters. Terry Marsh was an interesting story. Alex Papali and myself will be doing that. Also, we will be talking about probably some of the same news that we're mentioning today, since a lot of people, live listeners, aren't getting it. We'll touch base, give you some updates, especially on that Roberto Duran thing. But listen, I'm going to take a short break right now. When I come back, I got some more news to talk about, like Roy Jones Jr. possibly taking on Bobby Gunn. Another fight which is scheduled in Boston at the old Roxy. We'll talk about that. I'll give you the rundown on the Billy C Challenge, what we got so far in the mix, and I'm also going to run down the boxing schedule, which looks pretty good for the remainder of the year. All of that's coming up in, let me predict, I'll say 2 minutes.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. every week.
9. Campanaro and Tomkovich, we have been helping our clients get the justice they deserve for almost 30 years, and we could do the same for you.
The night's still young,
and he's got martinis.
so you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good. We want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway. Up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette. He's just a butternet. Coming at you on the count of 1, 2.
And where, you know, we're back, man. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Glad you could join us, and glad to report to all the podcasters that are listening to this show, you know, tomorrow. Because don't forget, man. Just remember one thing: today is the tomorrow that you worried about yesterday. Huh? Let's remember that. But all of you that are listening to, all of you guys that are listening to the podcast, you're lucky, man, because a lot of the people that thought they could, get the stream on YouTube, they ain't getting it. They ain't getting it. That's for sure. Yeah, my man Joel is mentioning, we are going to be talking about the Diaz fight. Juan Diaz is taking on Adiliton de Jesus. This weekend. We'll be chatting about that on Friday, along with the other fights that I will mention right now. So far, which we got on our challenge so far this week on Andrea Fonfara, Andy Fonfara against Gabriel Campillo. That'll definitely be part of the challenge. Otor Spilska against Mike Molo. That too will be part of the challenge. Now, we got our very own Blakely Berger covering that fight in Chicago for Friday Night Fight, so that would be great. On HBO, we got Daniel Geale against Darren Barker. We were mentioning that. Of course, Nathan Cleverly against Sergey Kovalev. And I didn't realize, I guess Kiko Martinez is on that card as well, so maybe we'll add that one on there too. I'll put that one on the challenge as well. And over on Saturday as well, we have Takashi Miura against Sergio Yayo Thompson. And like I mentioned, Juan Diaz against De Jesus. And Jonathan Gonzalez against Giovanni Segura. That's what I have so far on the challenge. And speaking of the challenge, if you're interested, the way it sits right now for the month of August, Blakely Berger is in first place, tied with my man Marty Mulcahy. Now, those two guys have the same monthly record as yours truly, 12 out of 13 for a 92% winning percentage. Now, coming in second place right now, we have a, 4-way tie between Alex Thompson, Neil Thompson, Gustavo Pena, and Jerry Murray, all sitting at 85% with 11 out of 13. And then to round out the top 3 places, we have a 3-way tie for 3rd place. Dave Murphy, Chris Flan, and Ryan Kinzit. As a matter of fact, we have 4, and my man Ray Delegalio, who won last month's prize, they all are at 77% with 10 out of 13. Now, I was mentioning to you about the Title Bout Championship computer game, which we are going to be getting involved with. We're going to offer more prizes for people that are involved with our challenge that can not only do well with our challenge, but also beat the game. And I'll be giving out some prizes for that. So I recommend that you do get yourself a copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. It's very easy. Visit our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Title Bout Championship computer game logo, which is on the left-hand side. I just want to get a couple of news things out of the way. Then I'm going to read my boxing schedule roundup from now through, I guess we have some November fights in there. A lot of good fights on tap. Bobby Gunn and Roy Jones Jr. are talking about fighting. About a year and a half ago, they almost got the deal done, but then it fell apart. Now they're claiming that they're both IBA world champions. IBA is just you. IBA, you be me. Who cares? CA, I don't know. But the bottom line is they are in negotiations. And I'm curious to see what weight class they would be in. Bobby Gunn is calling himself a cruiserweight champion. Roy Jones Jr. is calling himself I'm broke, I need some money champion. So we'll see what happens if these two guys fight, if it's going to be broadcast, what the deal is. Right now, nothing's signed, nothing's delivered, nothing like that. If you want to read the article, it's up under the hot boxing news or latest boxing news on BillyCBoxing.com. A fight that's taking place September 7th at the old Roxy, which is called the Royale nightclub now in Boston, is Michael Moore, I should say, 12-0 with 6 knockouts, is going up against a to-be-announced opponent. And we also have Michael McLaughlin is on that card and some other young fighters. Now, this is a difference here, Joel. I just want to mention, I know you're listening live and all that happy stuff, but I just want to mention this is the big difference between a club show like this and the Broadway Boxing Series. These shows generally, especially in New England, are, you see the same types of things. You see young fighters going at it and stuff like that, but they're entertaining. They're evenly matched. They're not blowouts, and that's what you've been getting with the Broadway Boxing Series. I'm sorry, man. That's the truth. That's what you've been getting. Lou DeBell is really cutting us short on that. And if I was SNY with the Broadway Boxing Series, I would reevaluate it because come on, man. They're paying for it. And it should be of some type of quality. Let's be real, Let's go through some fights. Now, the Monday fight series, which starts August 19th, Golden Boy, Danny Jacobs is taking on Giovanni Lorenzo as the main event in Brooklyn. That's going to be on Monday, I guess. So we'll be looking forward to that. Also, Travis Kaufman, I was laughing about this fight. This guy is just totally, we kid about, frauds and stuff, but BJ Flores and Travis Kaufman clearly are the two biggest frauds. He's returning August 23rd, and he's taking on a 12-12 guy in Aaron Lyons. So, yeah, make sure you run out and get tickets for that one, right? On Friday, the 23rd, in Dover Downs at the Dover Downs Hotel and Casino, a big fight between Mo Harris and Amir Mansour is going to be taking place for a couple of belts on the line there. So check that one out on the 23rd. Those cards are usually okay. Also on the 23rd, former world light heavyweight champion Glenn Johnson is scheduled to come back. Now, I haven't heard anything about this, but the last thing I heard was that he was taking on a 13-0 fighter, Isa Thomas. So we'll see what we have there. So That's taking place on August 23rd. Now, on August 24th, we know for a fact that Abner Mares and Johnny Gonzalez is taking place. What a fight that's going to be. I'm looking forward to that one. That's one of these great fights that I've been telling you is all coming up. So I'm excited about that matchup for sure. On August 24th, and if you hear me say anything that has been rescheduled or there's an opponent change, please drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com, and I'll be glad to update that. But Zurdo Ramirez is going to be making his U.S. debut on August 24th. He's taking on Julio Cesar Babyface Garcia. Zurdo Ramirez is 25-0 with 20 knockouts, and he's in the middleweight division. Here's a guy that we may be seeing in the United States here as a potential opponent for maybe Triple G or another one of the young middleweights we got cooking here in the States. Also on that card, my man Jesse Magladeno of the Magladeno brothers. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight, and that's going to be on August 24th. I also heard that Jeff Lacey was fighting on August 24th. He announced it, but ever since that announcement, never heard anything again on that one. So curious to know if that's still taking place. The big fight in the heavyweight division on August 24th, Tony the Tiger Thompson going up against Kubrat Pulev. I'm looking forward to that fight. Finally, it was made. It seems like it didn't have that much to promote. It seems like they just announced that, but that's taking place next week. That's the 24th already. So also next week, Jürgen Brammer is scheduled to defend his European title against Stefano Ablatangelo, who's 17-2 with a draw, and he's out of Italy, of course. He's a Paisan. Also, August 24th, what a big weekend we're going to have next weekend. Arthur Abraham is going to be getting back in the ring when he takes on Wilberforce Schleppo, who's 20-6. Also, don't forget the 23rd at the Turning Stone. We'll be doing the big fight there. And like I mentioned, the one of the big fights that I'm looking forward to is clearly the Abner Mares and Johnny Gonzalez fight. That's going to be a good one. That's for sure. So I'll be looking forward to that one. I actually had that one twice, so I'm cleaning up my own mess here. Tion Kennedy was scheduled to fight Josito Collado in Atlantic City on August 24th. We'll make sure that fight still happens. Also, jump into August 31st. I haven't heard anything on that fight with David Tua and Alexander Ustinov. I did not hear that it was rescheduled, and I did not hear that it was canceled. So maybe his pulled calf muscle or whatever the hell happened to David Tua is okay. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. Chris Arreola and Seth Mitchell, September 6th. Who isn't waiting for this fight? I can't wait for this one. This is a huge fight in the heavyweight division. Forget Klitschko and Povetkin. I know that's a big fight, but man, this is a really big fight for young heavyweights. This is, going to define possibly who's going to be stepping in for a world title fight next. I'm looking forward to Chris Arreola against Seth Mitchell for sure. Also September 6th in the lightweight division, Gislian Maduma, 14-0 in the lightweight division, is taking on Fermin Doslas, Canada. So we'll see how that one goes. Also on September 6th, what do I have that one twice? Come on, man. Is that the 6th or the 7th? I think it was changed to the 7th, right? Now I got to... Oh, no. Yeah, I have it twice. Yeah, I have Seth Mitchell, Chris Arreola twice. Hey, did you hear that Seth Mitchell and Chris Arreola are fighting? Yeah, twice. Demetrius Andrade, Marcian, that fight's been canceled because of the injury. September 7th, the injury to Julio Cesar Chavez, that is. 4 World Boxing Federation title fights will be taking place on September 7th. It's also the WBF's convention. The main event, Jürgen Doberstein is defending his WBF Intercontinental Super Middleweight title against former world champ William Gary. And also on that card in the women's division, the WBF junior welterweight champ Rola El Halabi will be fighting somebody. There'll be Raja Amaha, who's going to be on this show. She's going to be on this show before this fight. She's going to be making a title defense against Eva Golden Baby Vorgberger. And finally, Bernan Donfak will be taking on Saeed Mabelwa for the vacant WBF International Light Heavyweight title. So some good fights happening there. Another big fight on September 7th in Glasgow. My man Ricky Burns taking on Raimundo Beltran. Tell me that's not going to be a good fight, right? We also know that the Demetrius Andrade Morrison fight has been rescheduled, or we're going to hear for it to be rescheduled. I just told you about the Michael Moore and his fight against Medina, which is going to be taking place September 7th at the Old Roxy in Boston. Patrick Majowski is taking on Patrick Nelson in Denmark. This is a good fight. Patrick Majowski's a good fighter at 21-1. He's taking on undefeated Patrick Nelson. This for the Denmark fans rooting for Nelson. You better watch out because Majowski's a pretty tough fighter, and I'd be careful. I'd be careful if I'm a fan in Denmark. The Chavez fight has been postponed. September 14th. You know who? Go ahead. Tell him, Joel. Tell him I'm mentioning his boy right now. You know who is going to be fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez at a catchweight. We all heard you know who say, "I'll never expect a fighter to fight at a catchweight." Yeah, he is. He's making Alvarez slim down to 152. That's taking place September 14th. It's going to be a big fight. There's no question about that. And we will be looking forward to that fight and breaking it down and all those happy things that happen when those big fights take place. Hughie Fury, the cousin of Tyson Fury, he's going to be stepping in with a former British Cruiserweight champion, Shane McPhilbin, on the undercard of Kid Galahad and Dickens on September 14th. That ought to be a good test for Hughie Fury. He's talking about a fast track. Another huge fight on September 14th, and this is Marco Captain Huck, not to be confused with Captain Crunch, is going up against Firat Arslan in a rematch of a very intense fight the first time around. So we'll see what happens with this one. September 20th, Wilfredo WV2 Vasquez Jr. will be fighting against Guillermo Avila. Against Agamo Avila on September 20th in Kissimmee, Florida. So we'll be looking forward to that. September 21st is actually a pretty good fight in Minnesota. Two Minnesota fighters, Calab Truax, is going up against Cericio Fort, which promises to be a pretty good one as well. Andy Lee returns to the ring September 28th. Harry Simon, former world champion, he returns to the ring. Now remember, he's 41 years old. He left the boxing world as a champion, and he's still unbeaten at 28-0 with 21 knockouts, even though he's 41 years old. He returns on September 28th. Also September 28th, the big showdown in the heavyweight division, another big heavyweight fight, David Haye against Tyson Fury. You know, who doesn't want to see that one? Another big heavyweight fight a week later, October 5th. Some guy named Vladimir Klitschko going up against Alexander Povetkin in what also promises to be a good fight there. On the same day in Florida, Miguel Cotto is taking on Delvin Rodriguez in what is supposed to be a pretty good fight. I think this is a great opportunity for Delvin Rodriguez. And if Miguel Cotto looks good in this fight, I had already predicted several weeks ago that he will be the next guy to fight, or at least one of the guys in line to fight you-know-who. October 12th is a fight that I'm looking forward to. I want to see more Timothy Bradley. I've always liked Timothy Bradley. I did not think he beat Manny Pacquiao, but nonetheless, it wasn't his fault. He didn't do the scoring. He's taking on Juan Manuel Marquez, and that's taking place October 12th in Las Vegas, so look forward to that one. Also, October 12th, former WBO featherweight champ Orlando Salido, 39 wins, 12 losses, and a couple of draws, is taking on Orlando Cruz for the vacant WBO featherweight title, and that's going to be on the undercard of the Timothy Bradley fight. October 19th, we all know about that. That's going to be Mike Alvarado against Prodagnikov. That's set for October 19th. October 26th in Sheffield, England. See, I told you there's a lot of good fights coming up. Kell Brook against V. Sinchenko. Sinchenko didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. He said he was all hurt, and now he's fine to fight Kell Brook, so who knows about that. Also, October 26th, Bernard Hopkins. That's right. Originally, this was going to be October 19th, but now it's October 26th. Will be on Showtime, and he's taking on Caro Murat for the light heavyweight title. November 3rd is... what's November 3rd? Is that when Marco Captain Hook and Arslan is November 3rd. Okay, I see. That's so I have a mistake here. I got to fix that. I had that fight taking place earlier, and that was pushed back. Okay, gotcha. November 3rd is Captain Hook and Marco. Marco Captain Hook and Firat Arslan was, I guess, rescheduled. I guess I don't know. Made a mistake there. November 23rd is going to be taking place in China. Manny Pacquiao against Bam Bam Rios. That's the last fight we have on slate for the challenge. For the schedule. So we've got a lot of stuff cooking, man. A lot of stuff cooking. One thing that's not cooking is the live internet feed, which is your gain if you're a Fight Now viewer, because you haven't missed a beat ever since Fight Now took the show at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. We've been fine on Fight Now, as well as our podcast and everything else. The only thing that has been going in and out is the live stream, which I guess is working now, but pops out in and out. So we'll see what happens. Given Quality keeps asking, "What's the topic now? What's the topic now?" Hey, Given Quality, man. Hopefully you're going to get a chance to watch this replay tomorrow, if it even goes up on YouTube. If not, you're going to wish you had a premium subscription, because those guys are going to have theirs. But anyway, like I said, coming up later in the week, tomorrow we got Terry Marsh. Interesting story about Terry Marsh. He's going to be our blast from the past, and Alex and I will be talking about him. Thursday, we have Dax Khan will be joining us, and he'll be giving us his boxing schedule roundup for this weekend. So we'll keep you all posted on that. And aside from that, we got our regular Friday, which is going to consist of me breaking down the fights that we choose for the Billy C Challenge this week. And it looks like there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8. If you're interested in joining the challenge, it's real easy. Just drop me an email, Billy@talkinboxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and I'll hook you up, man. There's no problem with that. And, we have a couple of rules, and they're real easy. Before you're eligible for prizes, you only got to be involved with 20 fights. You got to pick them all, and you can't miss 3. Now, there's some guys that are missing 3. Now, here's the thing. Even if you miss more than 3, now we got a couple of guys that are missing more than 3 fights, and they're definitely not going to win the month because they, have a 0 average. So it's going to be really hard to win the month. But once you get several hundred picks in, like these particular 2 guys have, their year-end average does not get affected as much when we only have these last couple of weeks. We only had a couple of fights. It was only 8. So they didn't drop down that low. They definitely lost some percentage points, but not as much as you would on a month. So they have a chance. Now, if they keep missing, it's going to be real hard to regain. But the beauty of this is even if you come in now, you can win a month. You could start this week and get a couple of fights under your belt, and then for September, really hit it home, and you'll be eligible. All you got to do, we go by winning percentage. So all you got to do is win, get the highest winning percentage, and we round it off. So, somebody that has 6.5.5555 and somebody with 6.5.9999 both get rounded off to 66. And then there's some tiebreakers. We go to a number of plays, and then if it's still tie, we have a tiebreaker like we did for the month of July. So anyway, we also we're talking. I wanted to get some thoughts, and if you are listening to the podcast now, or if you're watching on Fight TV. Fight Now TV. Give me some thoughts on Deontay Wilder. Drop me an email, Billy@talkinboxing, TalkinBoxing.com. I'm adamant about him in his next fight. I think that's going to be the telltale. I was impressed with the knockout, even though Sergey Lukaevich is not exactly at his best. I was impressed with the knockout. I give him credit for it. But I believe that there's no way that he'll be able to not fight a quality opponent in his next fight. He's positioned himself to. It'll be his 30th professional fight, and I think that the jury will be out on him. I think that one-round annihilation is going to hurt him because over his last 6 fights, he hasn't gone. He's never gone past 4. He's never gone past 4 rounds. He's never finished a 4th round. So I think that's going to hurt him. But let me know your thoughts on him. Let me know your thoughts on this Roberto Duran thing. What's up with that? Is Roberto Duran really going to be fighting in a couple of weeks? I mean, I love Roberto Duran, and I always didn't. There was a time when he was active. Sometimes I hated him. I went for I'll admit, I went for Sugar Ray Leonard against Duran. I got to appreciate Roberto Duran more, afterwards. And I went for Tommy Hearns. I was a big Tommy Hearns fan. I rooted for Tommy Hearns against Sugar Ray Leonard. I rooted for Tommy Hearns against Marvin Hagler, but I rooted for Marvin Hagler against Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, that's what was so great about the 80s. And I tell you what, I got to admit, the era that we're in right now, with the exception of you-know-who, it's interesting. I love watching all these other fights. They're exciting. I love watching these types of fights that some people don't, call the sweet science. I like it. I think it's entertaining, and I'm glad it's taken that turn, to be honest with you. So they're talking about Kovalev. Half these guys can't even hear what we're saying in the chat room, but they're talking about Kovalev. I'm convinced that Kovalev is trying to be shamboozled by Cleverly. There's no way Cleverly's going to stand in front of Kovalev. There's no way. It's not going to happen. And if he does, he's pretty stupid, to be honest with you. I just can't see it happening. But anyway, what I do see happening right now is
wake up. It's time for It's too early for a trivia question.
All right, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia question is being brought to us by the Turning Stone Resort and Casino in Verona, New York, and their big event that's taking place on August 23rd. And the main event, now, first of all, Mike Tyson is the promoter. It's Iron Mike Promotions. They renamed Equinity Sports, and it's now Tyson. So Mike Tyson will be in attendance. Listen, get yourself some tickets right now. Visit our website, www.billycboxing.com. Click the fight poster. You can't miss it. It's right there on the right-hand side. And do me a favor, man. Hang out. Get a room. Come on in Thursday night or Friday night and hang around. Get a room. They got some specials there. Turningstone.com. Boxing, TalkinBoxing.com. If you're a good-looking woman, I'd be glad to chaperone you for the night. No problem. And if not, you just want to buy me a couple of 10, 20 scotches, give me an email, man. I'll tell you where you can meet me, and we'll have some fun. The main event is for the IBF Junior Featherweight Championship. The champion, Argenis Mendez, 21-2 with 11 knockouts, is putting his title on the line for the first time against Arash Youssoumani, who's only once beaten, 20-1 with 10 knockouts. He's out of Canada. The co-main will be for the vacant WBA interim featherweight title, and Claudio Moraro is 14-0 with 11 knockouts out of Florida, taking on Jesus Andreas Cuellar, who's 22-1 out of Argentina. Also on the card in the featherweight division, Alexi Collado, 16-0, taking on Hugo Pardilla, 19-4. That's going to be in the featherweight division. Welterweights, Ed Paradis is on this card. taking on No Bolanos. That's the sleeper fight of the night. That's going to be a good one. In the middleweight division, Antoine Douglas, 8-0, taking on Robert Acevedo, who I've seen before. He's 7-1. Albert Prince Bell, 1-0. He's in the featherweight division, fighting a pro debut, Leonel Garcia. So some good fights there. Tickets are reasonably priced, $45 they start out at. I'm telling you, don't miss this card, and drop me an email. Let me know when you're going to be there so I can, have a couple with you. Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia question is supplied to us by our trivia question guru, Henry Haskup. And it's another good one. Who has won most countries? Today I was getting several answers, one from my main man from Hawaii, and I don't think you're hearing this title,